When it comes to flight, you don't really have an option but doing your best and striving for excellence. Anyone that joins aviation in our team will strive for perfect, and that's essentially just striving for being the best and safest operator out there. When we go through the flight instructor course, we learn that learning happens in a more expeditious manner when there's a positive experience. And I think we can all relate to this. If you had a fun science experiment in class, you'll probably remember exactly what was going on. Even many years later, as where you were bored in a class, you probably won't remember much. So we try to make sure that throughout our lessons here, you're having a good time, not just to make sure you are having a good time, which is important, but also so that you can recall that information. Here at Blue Hill, we follow a very structured syllabus, and your instructor will follow that syllabus pretty much to a T. We don't train you to our standards. We train you to the FAA practical test standards. And thankfully, those are very well laid out, and we will follow that syllabus to make sure you're properly trained. And we will follow that syllabus on a day-to-day basis. As you check in, we'll make sure you're following that syllabus and lesson plan for that day so that we are able to stick to your schedule and make sure we cover all that's needed during that lesson. It's funny, in aviation, there's two types of people, or kind of like the same student can go through both situations during their flight training. Sometimes students can be overconfident when they're starting to feel comfortable with the controls, and sometimes as they're struggling with learning something new, they will be self-conscious and not really trust their confidence. And really, as an instructor, it is a challenge to try to show them that they are capable of doing this, but it is a struggle sometimes to show them that, hey, we just need to move on from this topic. You'll get it, right? So it's kind of like riding a bike where muscle memory comes into play, and a lot of repetition will be your best friend. And usually just within a couple lessons, students are able to see that they can push through that. Being a flight instructor is something that should be taken pretty seriously. It is something that is definitely not for everyone, but I can definitely tell you that it is one of the most rewarding feelings. Just this week, I sent one of my students in their first solo flight, and the moment their skids came up from the ground, they were in a stable hover. I could not believe that they were doing that all by themselves after 3 or 4 months of hard work. It is the most rewarding experience, and a tip for upcoming flight instructors, just stick to what you know. If you've made it this far, you know, and you're properly trained what you should do, what you shouldn't do. Stick to the PTS standards that the FAA gives us, and make sure you're doing your best every single day that you show up at work. We have a phrase in aviation that's called aviate, navigate, communicate, and we do that in that order. The main thing is flying the aircraft and making sure that you know where you're going. And then lastly, but very important, is communication. Once you're in a safe place and flying the aircraft, then you can communicate, and if you need help, you can ask for help. Communication is something that seems challenging and daunting at first, but once you are in the environment, it's easier to understand radio calls, and really it's a simple way to communicate efficiently and effectively. The FAA has a couple books for help, and as instructors, we definitely make sure that you know how to structure your sentences and radio calls when you are out there in the real world.